Welcome to Books and Beyond with That Guy Jay. I'm your host, That Guy Jay. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the TikTok ban and what the future of book talk might look like. But first, as always, we have to do the watch of the day. Today's watch of the day is the Casio AE1200, often referred to as the Casio Royale. It got this nickname because it looks very much like a Seiko that was worn in a James Bond movie. This was the first watch I actually purchased when I was trying to get into watches to see if I could wear one every day and if I liked them. You can pick up an AE1200 on Amazon for about $20, sometimes even less. It comes in a bunch of different colorways. I went with this nice bronze one, and I have it on a green NATO style strap, but you can also get it with a metal band. You can get it in silver, black, green. There's tons of options. This is a really fun watch. It's got tons of features. It has a analog clock here. It's got a map, and it's got a world timer, alarms, stopwatch, everything you could possibly need in a watch. This podcast is being filmed on Sunday, January 19th. Technically, today is the day that TikTok was supposed to be banned. For most people, I believe the ban went into effect in the United States around 10 to 10:30 p.m. last night, Eastern Time. I know that I was scrolling the app and it just stopped working, and I exited the app and reopened it, and I got a pop-up stating that it was banned in the United States. By early this afternoon, it was already back up, and it seems to be fully functioning now. I've been scrolling. I've been able to comment on people's videos. I haven't posted yet, but I did post a story. All the features seem to be back up and live for most users in the United States. I'm super happy that TikTok is back, but I am a little suspicious and I am a little concerned for the future of the app. I know for now it appears that we have at least another 90 days. I believe that this was an extension. I think it still technically needs to be sold. ByteDance has to divest. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. There's all sorts of conspiracies and rumors flying around right now. But the reality is we really don't know what's going to happen. I am super hopeful that TikTok is going to be able to stick around and that it's going to continue to be the amazing app that it has been for so many of us. With all of this happening, though, I thought that this might be a good time to talk a little bit about the book talk community, what it's meant to me, why I think it's so special, and why I hope that it never goes away. This podcast would not exist if it hadn't been for TikTok and book talk in particular. Book Talk has been such an amazing community to be part of. I'm so happy that I decided to start posting and join this community. Book Talk is filled with so much kindness, so many supportive people, so many great creators, and it's truly the best online space I've ever been a part of. But I'm going to take it back a little bit further and talk about my journey as a TikTok user. I actually downloaded TikTok, I believe, in November or December of 2019. My cousin actually told me to download it because she wanted to be able to send me funny things that she saw on there. And I got it. And at first, I think everyone back then, their algorithm initially showed them teenagers dancing. I didn't know what the app was about. But as I used it more, I was really impressed with how quickly the algorithm learned the things that I enjoyed. TikTok is an amazingly useful place. If you want a short tutorial on how to do anything, I used to go to YouTube if I wanted to learn how to do something, but that very quickly turned into me going to TikTok. I know a lot of people use TikTok more than they use Google when they're trying to look things up. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, I don't think I'm the only one that really appreciated TikTok existing. I know there was a lot of people who were stuck inside, alone. They didn't have any type of connection in their personal life around them. And TikTok got a lot of people through some really hard times. I spent years on TikTok just as a viewer. I never in a million years thought that I would be posting content, video content on TikTok. It's just not something that was in my wheelhouse. I'm a fairly socially anxious person, which might come as a little bit of a surprise because now I create content on there almost daily and I've made this podcast. But viewing for so long and eventually finding Book Talk in 2022 is really what motivated me to start my content creation journey. Like I've mentioned before, I've had a podcast in the past and I had a co-host with that, and I had an Instagram that went along with it, and it never really took off the way that I had hoped. I didn't have the right amount of time to dedicate to it, but TikTok was so different. I spent probably a year on Book Talk just viewing before I finally decided to make my own video. Actually, I think I spent about 2 years on Book Talk before I posted my first video. My first Book Talk videos were in the spring of 2024, last year. So I've been posting on there for less than a year. But even before I had posted, I found Book Talk to be such an amazing and such a kind space. The comment sections were not dumpster fires like you often see on YouTube and Instagram. There was endless amazing book recommendations. There was tons of collaboration happening between content creators, large authors, indie authors. It was really spectacular to see. This reading community really came together on TikTok, creating Book Talk, and I think Book Talk has had such a massive impact on the reading sphere and publishing and just books in general. I read recently that Barnes and Noble is now opening new locations for the first time in many years. Every bookstore I've been in the last 3 years has a Book Talk section. Book Talk has given so many individuals a chance to self-publish their books and actually have people read it and get the word out about their books. That's part of why I started this podcast. I want to be able to shine a spotlight on some of these amazing indie authors that I've come across on Book Talk. But anyway, after years of just watching, last spring I was actually going through some personal stuff. It was a pretty difficult time in my life, and I was looking for a little bit of escapism, and I turned to content creation, and I made a few videos that I was just trying to be funny, make some bookish memes. I didn't even show my face at first. I didn't talk. I just used sounds. And then I didn't post anything for a little while. I eventually worked up the nerve to do some voiceovers, which are surprisingly hard. I always thought that those would be easy. In fact, they are not. I think actual face on camera talking videos are often easier than the voiceovers. I eventually worked up the nerve to do those. I sat in front of my bookshelf on the floor in my living room and started making content. I don't think my content was particularly good at first. My lighting wasn't great. My setup wasn't great. My phone was leaned against something on my coffee table to hold it up. But I still got positive engagement from people. I got encouraging comments. I got great conversation in the comments. I got great stitches to a couple of my early videos where I posed simple questions. And from there, I was hooked, and I knew that I wanted to join this community further and be a part of Book Talk. One thing that Book Talk has absolutely showed me is how much I was lacking community in my life. I've discussed my injury on here and on TikTok. And in the past 7 years, my ability to get out and do things, my career was impacted. I've spent a lot of time at home alone, and I really lost any sense of community. I understand that everyone's living their life and people are busy, and not everyone had a chance to stop by and see me. I had to turn down a lot of plans because can't really do them anymore. I can't go walk for miles the way I used to partake in some of the activities I used to do. And for years, I thought I was fine. I didn't even think about community. I didn't think that anything was missing from my life. But once I joined the Book Talk community and started to make some friendships on there and started to be a part of something, it really hit me how much I've missed the last 7 years. I've made real friends on Book Talk, people that I will continue to speak to even if this app goes away. I've seen the community pull together for people who are going through hard times to help them get by. I've seen so much kindness in the Book Talk community. It's absolutely blown me away, and I'm so proud to even have a small part of being in this community. I'm not sure that Book Talk can ever be replicated on another app. I think that there's something special about TikTok, the way the algorithm brought all of us book lovers together, and I don't know that that can happen twice. If TikTok does go away or it does change in any type of negative way, I'm truly going to be sad. I'm going to miss this app. I'm going to miss this community. I'm going to miss this great thing that we've all joined. I know most of us will continue to make content. We will land on other apps, and I hope that those will be fun as well. I think that many of them can be fun, but I'm not sure it'll ever be the same, and that makes me really sad. I'm staying positive for now. I didn't make a goodbye video on TikTok because, like I said, I was hoping to make a Monday morning reading update, and I plan to do that tomorrow because we're back. The TikTok ban only ended up lasting about 14 hours for most people, but we're still super uncertain about what the future holds for the app. But one thing that I'm absolutely going to take away from this is that I need to build more community in my life. I see that now. I see how much I missed that. And I see how much me having a community would benefit even my daughter. I think that she could use more community. I think everybody could use more community. You need people you can rely on. You need people to pick you up when you fall down. And that's something that I've been lacking for many years. So I'm super appreciative to Book Talk for this. I don't know how long it would have taken me to figure this out on my own. Another fantastic thing that I've learned from TikTok is how much I actually enjoy content creation. Despite considering myself an introvert, very shy, socially anxious in most situations, I love making videos. I love the creativity of this. I love trying to come up with video ideas. I love trying to tinker with the lighting, the audio. That's why I got myself this mic. I have light sitting in front of me. I have a proper ring light with a mount to hold my camera or my phone when I'm filming. And I've really started to enjoy the editing aspect of this. I don't think I'm good at editing yet, but I am improving, and it's something that I want to continue to learn. It makes me think back to years ago. I was into photography, and I learned the basics of Lightroom, and that changed photography for me because I learned that as much as I liked going out and taking the pictures, I think I liked editing them even more. And I'm finding the same to be kind of true for content creation. As much as I enjoy making the videos, I enjoy the thought process that goes behind them, the setup, the filming, the technical side of it, and the editing. That's my favorite part. I'm not sure I ever would have figured these things out about myself if it hadn't been for TikTok because I had no reason to film videos. I was never going to make content for Instagram. I had no real desire to make a YouTube channel until this podcast. Being a part of Book Talk has shown me that I'm far more creative than I ever gave myself credit for. I never considered myself to be a creative person. I think I've said this before in other podcasts, but I only considered creativity to be things like what my daughter's into. She's into sketching. She's into painting. She's into all forms of what I would consider more traditional art. I was never good at those things, but I have always enjoyed things with photography. I took multiple photography classes in high school where I got to develop my own film and make my own pictures. In college, I took some courses about web development, and I loved the creativity of that, of making silly websites with my friends. We never did anything serious, but we had a great time with coming up with different layouts and things like that. So even though the focus of Book Talk has always been books and reading, I think the larger aspect of this that we don't even always notice is the community aspect and the support aspect. I've seen so many people on Book Talk branch out into different creative avenues, and they've gotten so much support from everyone on Book Talk, and I love to see it. With this week's podcast in particular, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pull off the editing because as of the time of filming this right now, CapCut is still not working because CapCut was lumped in with the TikTok ban. I've been using CapCut on my computer to edit all the previous podcasts. I've been meaning to learn something else, so this week we're going to get a little bit of trial by fire. So if my editing is off, I do apologize, but I'm going to try. But again, these are things that I wouldn't have learned without TikTok. I never would have even considered downloading DaVinci Resolve. So ultimately, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Book Talk community. I'm so grateful for all of you, anyone who's ever interacted with me, the friends I've made, all of the amazing suggestions, all of the hilarious content, all of the amazing support, whether it be for my videos or just seeing you all support each other. It is so inspiring. Last night and this morning, I opened TikTok probably 50 times just on reflex, forgetting that it wasn't going to be there. And it sure did suck that it wasn't there. So again, I'm very hopeful for TikTok's future. I'm glad that it's back, at least for 90 days. I am cautiously optimistic. We can't guarantee that TikTok is going to be the same after these 90 days. We don't know what the future holds, but I am beyond grateful to have been part of this community. As always, thank you so much for joining me this week. If you could just take a second to like, share, subscribe, review, hit any of the buttons. Like I said, it helps a tremendous amount. I greatly appreciate you, and I will see you next week for more Books and Beyond with That Guy Jay.